If you fear that AI is gonna steal your job or destroy the world, there's probably no need to fear yet. But things are for sure gonna change, and one way we can be sure of that is because of this thing called the Turing test. The Turing test was invented in 1949 by this OG nerd called Alan Turing, a British computer scientist from jolly old England who's something like the father of the computer. The Turing test basically says that if a computer can chat with you over text and trick you into thinking it's a real person, it passes the test. This was a huge deal for a long time because it kind of meant that computers are officially as smart as humans, and today, I think even the biggest AI skeptics have to agree that basically every chatbot can pass the Turing test. I mean, sure, we can sometimes kind of smell the AI, we can still sense the disturbance in the force, but a lot of the time, even the most jaded, brain rotten Gen Alpha children, even they can sometimes get fooled by AI. And a lot of us willingly get fooled, by the way. I'm sure there's people out there who will get angrier than Hitler if I just, even suggest that their AI girlfriend is not real. So that means the Turing test is crushed. And we gotta keep moving the goalposts for AI so that we kind of have something to do here. That's why we need a new Turing test. And who better to create that than some rando on YouTube, right? No, but really, AI crushes the original Turing test today, but as of right now, I'm not sure the impact from that is as big as people thought it was gonna be. People just kinda got a little bit more jaded, a little bit more skeptical of content online, especially written content, but also any form of content, and we kinda picked up a few new patterns to recognize AI. We're still not seeing the world completely transformed by AI, which kind of leads me to believe that maybe the old Turing test was not difficult enough. So I want to suggest a new, updated, and improved Turing test, a test on the complete human level diligence and precision in the digital world that will actually have a massive effect on people's lives. Here's my proposal. We give an AI or an agent or an LLM or whatever you want the following: access to the internet, a laptop, a phone number, and maybe some sort of an LLC or access to some form of an entity that can operate in the business world. And let's just say we give it access to a bank account with $1,000 in it. And all of that kind of gives it almost like everything it needs to do stuff online, right? I mean, what even defines a person online? It's pretty much your phone number. We live in an age where we kind of like to pretend that money doesn't matter and everyone who likes to make money is fake and evil, while we're all like the pure and noble and totally above money people. But reality strongly disagrees, and if we can choose only one criteria to how close something measures up to reality, something that's also easy to measure, that should be money. Money doesn't lie. When you cannot sleep at 2 a.m. and you're fully honest with yourself, you know that money matters a lot, and people vote with their wallets, their words are just meaningless most of the time. So let's test the AI on the most tangible thing we humans have invented, the closest approximation we've ever seen to actually capturing what we collectively consider to be value, and that's money. So we give the AI everything it needs to do things online. It has all the equipment and a little bit of startup capital, and let's have it like create a product, something to sell that will be profitable. I think the following is a fair test. So, ideally it creates this on the first try, maybe in less than a week, although it's probably gonna take a lot less than that. This can be an application, a web app, maybe even like something different with software. It should be at least moderately complex. Let's just say like at least 20,000 lines of code, and it should be something with real world use cases. I don't think like toys or games will cut it here. We want to see some real life uses, because if we just allow like simple apps, they may succeed only based on luck. Honestly, this can happen sometimes in the business world. This test can be passed through luck if the app is kind of like like a toy or something, a game. But if it's something, let's just say, for productivity, for work, for business, that does require a little bit extra kind of like seriousness, and I think that's actually a good criteria. And one important criterion here, like probably the key criterion, is that we cannot accept marketing flukes in a way. So if some virgin on Twitter brags he has built like a $1 million a month like simple app, and it's the hot dog not hot dog app, but it makes money because a billion other nerds are checking it out and some of them are spending money on it, that doesn't count. Like we only consider real people who use this for real use cases in the real world. Also, it cannot have security vulnerabilities or horrible design or performance, and it should make, let's just say, $10,000 of profit a month. I was thinking about this a lot. I changed it several times. Maybe we can kind of play around with it, but I think this is serious enough. And also, it has to keep this progress for at least 6 months. So, all of this must go on for 6 months. Here's another idea for a simple test. It can also create a digital product, maybe a course or an ebook. It can run like Facebook ads with its startup capital or whatever ads, or maybe it can just create like social media slop or spam people with email, and this one will actually work. Like I can see this one already working. I don't have data here, but I think if you give if you give, let's just say, 100 AIs, like, try this, and you give them $1,000 each, I think maybe 3 or 5 will pass the test, simply because the product is much simpler. A digital product is nowhere near as complex as like software or something. And AI is actually pretty good at like writing copy, marketing, ads, copywriting, social media content, all of that. Like it can do it decently well, probably even better than like the average person out there. So this one might actually, this one is probably gonna happen, and I think I'm not even. I wouldn't even be surprised if people are already doing this. Although the percentage of success matters here, because if you, let's just say, get 100 marketing experts and you make them like pass the same test, you give them the same criteria, the same startup capital, I think they're still gonna do a much better job than the AI, but the AI is also gonna still pass it some of the time. I don't know, maybe it's gonna be 3%, maybe even like 20%, but I still don't think it's gonna be like 50%, because at that point we would have seen like digital marketing start to fall apart, and all of these businesses that depend on content, they would probably go away if this number is seriously high. And I think AI is not there in both cases. I still haven't seen conclusive proof. If you have any, like, I would be happy to kind of take a look at it, but a lot of people just claim things. It's also difficult to prove things. I would love to see when this happens, because the devil is in the details here. Making money requires like a lot of different details, managing a lot of things. It's a really complex, subtle kind of like task. There's a ton of edge cases and all of these small decisions, and their impact kind of like multiplies exponentially. And as hard as that sounds, like, humans are still fairly good at that. I mean, not all of us, but those who pursue this as expertise, they are fairly decent at it. And the probability machines are still not there yet. But the key point here is that as soon as AI figures out how to do this, like as soon as it kind of conquers the digital world when it comes to money, that's the point when things get really chaotic. Because if it's better at truly understanding and creating value for human beings, even if it's just digitally, and we're talking about actual value here that humans will vote for with their wallets, with their money, I think if AI passes that Turing test, maybe that is a good time to start panicking.